Hey there, welcome back. Today I would like to talk to you about finding your why. What I mean by that is that many people want to become frugal, but there are many different types of frugal that are out there, and until you find your why, you will not know the right path to take to become the frugal person you want to be. So, before you can truly commit to being a frugal person, you have to find what it is you are looking for, and that is finding your why. Now, you might just be in a situation where you want to save money. It may be that you want to cut down on waste. Maybe you find that you have a lot of waste in your household. Again, it could be just that with 2020 as it is, your household budget has changed. You're maybe not working, you're not working as many hours. There's many different reasons that your budget can change. It may be that you just want to be kinder to the environment, and you've decided that you really need to become more frugal in order to do that, which again takes in some of the others, but it's ever so slightly different. And we all have to find, you can't do everything. In order to be a frugal person, you have to find the route that you want to go down. And one of the big things that's coming in now for anyone that is from the UK is Brexit. And again, that is going to make us have to tighten our belts. And now over Christmas, when you have a little bit of time to think, is a good time to have a good think about it and decide what it is that you want and what route you would like to take in order to go down the frugal route. So if you want to save, obviously that means you gotta stop spending, but really it's not stopping spending, it's just being more careful in the way that you spend money. So you have to ask yourself, do you buy on a whim? You really now have to think before you purchase. You have to think, do I need it? Do I want it? Is it totally necessary? And that even goes for groceries. Believe it or not, that may come as a shock to you, but again, when you go into the grocery store, you see so many things that may be an offer or may just look appealing. So you have to say to yourself, is it really, really needed? Because it's so easy just on a whim to lift that and throw it into your basket. All right. So are you a person that buys your lunch out every day? This is just an example for you. So you buy your lunch out every day and you think nothing of it, because at the end of the day, that lunch, you're only spending a £5 on coffee and a sandwich and a snack and whatever. But at the end of the week, after 5 days, that adds up to £25. So what you do is you cut down and you take 5 minutes the night before and you make yourself some lunch. It could be leftovers from the dinner, it could be a sandwich, it could be a salad, a pasta dish, something very, very simple, but yet something that you are going to enjoy. And it depends on your circumstances at work. Some people don't have access to kitchen facilities such as a microwave, you might just have a kettle or whatever, but you've got to think, about this in advance. And what I would suggest to you is that you have 4 frugal days where you make your lunch and you take your lunch to work with you, whatever it is that you decide that you want. And then one day you treat yourself to lunch. So what's going to happen is that £25 then goes down to £5 spending out. Okay, you're going to get an automatic saving of, you know, maybe £15 from that, because you can say £5 for the 4 lunches that you're making at home, and then £5 for the lunch that you eat out. So automatically there's £15 saved in that week. Same goes for buying cups of coffee, buying bottled water, all those things. You know, you can now buy your reusable thermos mug and your reusable water bottle, which aren't expensive. In fact, you'll buy them for the price of 2 cups of coffee or 2 bottles of water, depending on what it is that you buy. And again, just reuse these over and over again and make your own coffee. Experiment at home. I buy coffee, I buy creamer, I buy cinnamon. You can buy different flavoured syrups and bits and pieces that will last a long time. They may seem, you know, you say, oh, I'm not paying £2.50 for that syrup, but that syrup will last you 6 months. So, you know, think about it. It all works out so much cheaper in the end up. If you're somebody that wants to cut down on waste, because we have become such a throwaway society, again, I suggest to you to sit down and think about it. Do you buy convenience foods? Do you buy foods with lots of packaging on it? We have food waste, we have clothes waste, we have electrical waste, energy, heat, you name it. Everything in this world is being wasted at the moment, and we, the privileged, are the ones that are actually doing it. Look in your bin at the end of a meal and see how much is scraped into that bin. Look around your house. Are the lights being left on? Are there devices that are on and not being used or watched, or, you know, so simple, just to flick a switch? Is the heating up too high? I said before in one of my other videos, if you're walking around your house in the winter with just a t-shirt on, then your thermostat is too high. And what you have to do is turn that thermostat down a few degrees until you come to a happy medium, and then you put a sweater on. Because I'm sure there are plenty of sweaters in your cupboard, and they are not just for going outside. You wear them in the house and you will find, and it's actually better for your skin and better for your lungs, because if you have too much heat, it really dries out your skin and it makes it harder to breathe. So you have to have that nice happy medium, and it's up to each individual household to find out what that happy medium is. Put less on plates, especially children's plates. If you put less food on their plates and they clear that plate and are still hungry, they can get more. However, if you put too much on it, they won't eat it. It normally ends up in a row, because you're telling them, well, you have to finish that plate, because do you know that there is some child going hungry somewhere, etc. And to be perfectly honest, it's not the child's fault. We have put too much food on the plate and that food is being wasted. So again, what you've got to do is give them smaller portions, and if they want more, they can go back and get more. Then with what you have left, you put it into the fridge in a sealed container, and once a week, at least once a week, have a leftovers night, or 3 times a fortnight. It just all depends on what's in your fridge, because that's what I do. No food goes to waste in this house. All right. Clothes waste. Wow. What we don't waste when it comes to clothes, because it either goes out of fashion, or we just go off it, or we wear it too much. So what I suggest is that you sort your clothes out and sort them into different categories, different bundles, summer, winter, etc. And if you're really honest with yourself, you will see that you have an abundance of clothes, but I wouldn't be so quick to get rid of them, and I wouldn't be so quick to throw them out. I would choose your favorites, and I would put those all back into your wardrobe and your drawers, etc. And those that you're just not so fond of or fed up with at the moment, fold them, put them into a vacuum bag or a tub or whatever, somewhere that you can store them away. And believe it or not, if they're away for 6 months, a year, you will take them out next year or next spring or just whatever time of year they suit. And you will find that you will suddenly remember that you had this piece of clothing and that you actually did like wearing it. So because you're not looking at something every day, you won't get fed up with it, and it will be like having a new piece of clothing. There's also other ways. Obviously, buttons that come off items, learn how to sew them back on. What I actually love to do is when I'm getting rid of items and they have nice buttons or fancy buttons on them, I actually take those buttons off. This is items that are of no use to anybody. And sometimes I will use the material and just for different little projects. But the buttons I often use to have spares for when a button's lost, not just loose but lost, and it has to be replaced. But things that I have done, for example, I have a lovely white shirt, but I just thought it's boring. And I invested a couple of pounds and I bought some beautiful material covered buttons, very bright, all different. And I exchanged out the buttons, and then I had a completely different and much more trendy white blouse, and it's lovely. I love it, and everybody comments on it whenever they see it. Lots of little things you can do with a needle and thread. Don't be afraid to repair something. At the minute, it's fun to have patches. So again, if you have older items that you can cut up and use material, and they're bright and they're funky and things like that there, use them. Just make use of anything and everything that you have before you decide to throw away or replace. And you will find that you will end up with a whole new wardrobe. And it's so much fun, especially with the kids' clothes. Another thing that you can do is, if you really, say you've outgrown clothes or your kids have outgrown clothes, things like that there, and they're still in good condition, you can do a friend's clothes swap, you can do a community clothes swap. It's great to get everybody together. Everybody bring bits and pieces. And if you bring 3 pieces, you can swap 3 pieces. If you bring 10 pieces and they're good pieces, you can swap 10 pieces. It's entirely up to the individual, but it's a great way of recycling, reusing, and cutting down on waste. Now, electrical waste is one that is just, to me, it's unbelievable. Especially with electrical items, people will sooner replace than repair. And with smaller items, that is very much something that is done. Your iron breaks, your kettle breaks down, your toaster stops working. And if I were to tell you that 9 times out of 10, the fuse is actually blown in the plug, you probably wouldn't believe me, but it actually is the truth. So the first thing you do is check the fuse. And if you are not electrically minded, it's not something that you're going to do, because it's not something you would think of. Fuses, tiny little fuses, are only a few pence. Always keep a pack of 4 in the drawer, and even sealed plugs now have a little section in them that you can just flick open and replace a fuse. So sometimes if there is a surge in the electric, or if the electric has gone off for any particular reason, say there's a storm or whatever, you can find that fuses can blow, and that is all that needs replaced. Yes, it may be something else, but the fact of the matter is, check the fuse first, check that there's no loose wires in the plug, and if it's neither of those, then maybe it is time for a replacement, but I would check those first and make sure that things are working. Same goes for your hairdryer, your hair straighteners, your curling tongs, all those small things that we use. Most of the time it actually is just a fuse that has blown. Our waste of energy and heat, I've said it before, switch off the lights when when there's no one in the room. Switch off the lights, switch off any electrical items that are not being used, turn the thermostat down. Don't have your fridge or your freezer beside something warm, because that doesn't benefit them. And just plan ahead when you're cooking. If you have to put the oven on, well, don't put one thing in the oven. Plan ahead and put several things in the oven. And the same when you're cooking on the hob. Use a steamer pot, you know, the tiered pots that you can buy. Use them, and you will find that you can cook vegetables and you can cook potatoes, and sometimes there's a third pot and you can cook something else. Use a slow cooker. It uses very, very little electricity. Many ways of reducing heat and energy waste. So there's been a change in your household budget. Oh dear. You're going to have to cut back. You're going to have to start to be more frugal. So you've found your why there. This year has been particularly hard on an awful lot of people. And sometimes the fear of not knowing what's in front, and the fear of worrying about how you're going to pay the bills, etc. It can take over you, and you then need to sit down, take a deep breath, and just say, I am going to do this. This is why it is so important to find your why. So if this is the situation for you, that your household income has changed, you are going to have to budget. Now again, I have done a video previously on that helps you to see what you need to do whenever things change, or when you want to become frugal. The thing about it is that you have to take the fear out of the whole situation. once you know exactly where your money is going and how much money you have coming in, it makes life an awful lot easier. And one of the last things that may be on your list after you've bills to pay is your groceries. And from that then you can sit and plan your groceries and plan your meals, because you will know exactly how much you have to spend. But you've got to sit down and you've got to detail it all. And then you take the fear out of it and you know exactly where you are. Okay? So, if your household budget has changed, don't panic. There is help out there and you will get through this, and you have got to sit down. You've found your why, so now you have to sit down and plan how you are going to become a more frugal person, and you're going to bring all these things together and you're going to save money. We also have people who become frugal because they just want to be kinder to the environment. It's kind of similar to waste, but you know, as I say, they think harder about it, but a lot of time they put money into it. So they spend money in order to save money. They spend money on the likes of renewable energy, solar panels, wood and pellet stoves, back boilers, you know, you name it, there is all those things, little windmills that you can get for your houses. These all cost money, but once they're installed, eventually will save the person who has spent the time and money installing them, and it will save them money, but it also is kinder to the environment. And with that then, they are also very cautious and very aware of the amount of energy and that they're using. Some people are now going completely off grid. They collect rainwater and then they have water distilling systems that they use. As I say, they have solar power, so they have to be very cautious of how much electric and energy they're using. They cook on wood burning stoves. There are just so many things out there, but these people have to invest before they can reap the benefits of it. So again, that's another way of being frugal and also being kind to the environment. So these things kind of all really tie in together. When you sit down and think about it, you will think to yourself about being more conscientious. It may be none of this. You might have a completely different reason as to why you want to become frugal. But no matter what the reason is, you still have to find your why. So today you ask yourself, why do I want to become frugal? So I'm asking you, why do you want to become frugal, or why did you become frugal? I would be really interested to find out why you became frugal. For me, my story was that my mother brought me up to always respect money, and in respecting money, I just simply wouldn't throw it away. So I was a frugal person, and I found through being frugal and cautious in my spending that I saved more money. From that savings, I was able to invest in property. From those properties, we were able to rent. Then we eventually sold, and that is how we bought our retirement home outright. And it is sitting waiting for us for when the time's right. And we will sell this big house that we live in, and that will be part of our pension. So again, it has all come together in a big circle, and it was all through being frugal, because I would put money away every week, and it may not have been much or it may have been plenty. It just all depended on how much money I had. But I was very, very, and I still am to this day, very, very frugal. My goal for this month, I have one more shop to do, which will be a Christmas shop, because we're not getting away due to the pandemic. We are not going to Spain for Christmas, so we are staying at home. So I have one more shop to do, and then from that in January, I hope not to have to do a shop at all, because I have a nice pantry built up and I will have my freezer done, etc. And January is always a hard time, plus the fact that with Brexit coming in, it's going to be difficult to get certain things, and prices are going up already, and some of the shelves are bare. And through my frugality, I have bought stuff when it was on offer, and I have a nice stock of items, and the only thing that I will really have to buy is bread, milk and some fresh fruit and veg, which really isn't going to break the bank. One tip I will tell you is you, number one, must write down why, okay? Give your reasons and then whittle them down, because from this video, if you're not already frugal, you'll probably say, yes, I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that. You cannot do everything at once. If you've never been frugal before, and if this is a new experiment for you, you have to take it slowly, because if you try to do it all at once, what is going to end up happening is that you are going to become so overwhelmed that you just will not be able to do it. You will give up. So it's like anything. Start slow and work it up. Make a list and start ticking off the lists. And one of the easiest ones that you can do is say that I am going to start with the electric. So I am going to bring my electric down. And so what you're going to do is you're going to switch all the switches off that don't need to be on. You see all those red lights around your kitchen, etc., don't need to be on. All those items and electrical items that are sitting on standby don't need to go on. If your phone is charged, don't leave it on the charge. It's 100% charged. It doesn't need to be on. Okay? Make sure that lights are switched out. I love lamps. I use lamps because I find them so much better, and you can use such a low energy and low wattage light bulb. Again, that when it is on, it's not using very much electricity. So you're cutting down on that. You're going to cut down on portion sizes, and you're going to cut down on the temperature on your thermostat. So those three things are the main things that you need to cut down on first, and then you can take it from there. Once you've cut down on your portion sizes and you're doing a leftovers night every week, which you may have to add a little bit of pasta to, or a few chips, or, you know, something like that, bit of rice. It's not costing you very much, but what I'm saying is, once you have a leftovers night, that's one night's dinner you don't have to buy. So again, you're cutting down on your grocery bill. Then you get into the habit, if you're working or going out, or you have a partner that goes out and they spend money on their lunches, etc., take 5 minutes, make them their lunch. Everything is changing. So make 2021 count. Actually make 2020 count. We've had a horrible year, learn from it. And just take everything that has happened in 2020 and say that 2021 is going to be a much better year. We are not out of this situation. We are far from out of this situation. And in fact, I don't mean to sound doom and gloom, but with Brexit and the pandemic, things can and probably will get slightly worse. So what you've got to do is actually make a commitment to yourself and say, I'm going to do this. And now when you've a bit of time in your hands over Christmas, sit down and work it all out. And please, send me a message. If there's anything that you want to know, you know, I know these videos that I'm doing are new, and it's only now that I have the time to do them. But I just want to share my experience with you. And that experience is that I was able to retire at 49, and it was all through being frugal. I do everything frugally, okay? And so I just really, really want the whole world to become a better place, a frugal place, and to cut down on the amount of waste that we have. So I hope this has been of benefit to you. I would absolutely love to hear from some of you. It would mean so much to me. I have few measly but very much appreciated subscribers, and I would love to have some more. I'd love to get the encouragement to help you all. I'd love to help everybody, but hey, that just can't happen. But if this has been of any help to you, please, a thumbs up would be appreciated, a comment would be appreciated, and what I would love more than anything is for you to hit that subscribe button down below, okay? So please subscribe, and I will have more of these videos, and we will roll into 2021 on a high, ready to take on the world. Merry Christmas to you.